In this video, we are going to talk about solving multi-step equations. So we are going to solve equations where we must have to first combine like terms or use the distributive property in order to solve the equation. So there's some examples. The first one shows that you must combine like terms first, so 6x minus 8x. Remember that the sign in front of a term goes with it. So 6x minus 8x is negative 2x. And then we have the plus 3 equals 13. And then this is a two-step equation, so you finish with the next two steps. The first one is to undo what's being added by subtracting 3 from both sides, and then we get negative 2x equals 10. And then the last step is to divide both sides by negative 2, so that we will then have x all by itself, which is our goal for solving an equation. You need to show all of your work on this worksheet, so do be sure that you are showing something very similar to this example. Here's another example combining like terms, and a third one combining like terms. So be sure to check back at the examples. You can see that there are explanations for what to do for each step, as well as the work shown. This one also shows checking your answer, which is an excellent idea because then you'll be sure that you have the right answer. So these first problems are a combination of combining like terms, or look, this is just a two-step equation, so there's a few of those thrown in here as well. So be sure that you look at the sign in front of a term before you combine like terms. Let's look at number 4. Number 4 says 5 minus 10w plus 8w equals 15. The like terms are the minus 10w plus 8w. And the 10w has a negative in front. So we're really looking at negative 10w plus 8w, which is equal to negative 2w. And then we have a 5 there. So you can either write 5 minus 2w equals 15, or you could write negative 2w plus 5 equals 15. The 5 is a positive, so you could rewrite it as a plus 5 if you prefer. Now you have to finish this by showing all of your steps. My next step would be to undo the number that's being added or subtracted to both sides, so I could subtract 5 in order to undo that positive 5. So I would get negative 2w is equal to 15 minus 5 is 10. And then the last step would be to, see if I can get a little more space here, would be to divide both sides by the number that's being multiplied by the variable, which is negative 2. And of course, that on the left side, that leaves us with w. On the right side, we'd have 10 divided by negative 2 is a negative 5. Now I'm going to check this quickly just by taking the value of w and putting it in here and here. So I'm going to replace each w with negative 5, and I'm just going to kind of off to the side write what I would have. So I'd start with the 5, here's the 5, minus 10 times negative 5 plus 8 times negative 5. And I want to see if all of that equals 15. So that would be 5 minus 10 times negative 5 is the same as a plus 50, and this would be a minus 40 because 8 times negative 5. So we would have, and I want to see if these are equal. I should not put an equal sign yet. I'm not sure yet. So 5 plus 50 is 55 minus 40, but 55 minus 40 is equal to 15. So at that point, we can put our equal sign and show that this does indeed check. So I have the right solution. Let's look, oh, in number 7, you have to simplify both sides. But look at how simple they are to simplify. Simple to simplify. 20 plus 10 is 30, and over here you have all like terms, so you just have to figure out what is 4x plus 3x plus 3x, so you'll have something x equals 30. Don't forget to do number 18 just because it's at the top of the page. In this problem, 17 will be equal to, let's look at for the like terms on the right side. We have 3p, so that one has a p in it, and then we have minus 15 plus 8. There's no other terms with a p. So the only like terms is negative 15 plus 8. The minus 15 becomes negative 15 plus 8. So you can figure out what negative 15 plus 8 is, and then we'll have 3p minus, and it's going to be 7, so I'll just go ahead and finish this one off. So 17 equals 3p minus 7, and then you need to undo the minus 7 by adding 7 to both sides. So 17 plus 7 is 24 equals 3p. And then we're not done yet. We still would have to divide both sides by 3. And that will give you your answer for what p is equal to. I'll let you finish it off. Now sometimes we have to use the distributive property on one side, or even sometimes on both sides, before we can finish simplifying and adding like terms and then solving our equation. In this example, this is one that a lot of students have problems with. This minus in front of the parentheses is the same as a negative 1 in front of the parentheses, and then you distribute that negative 1 by multiplying it by both terms in the parentheses. So this becomes 9 equals 6 minus x minus 2. Then you can combine your like terms, which in this case is the 6 minus 2, and you get this problem. Subtract 4 from both sides, and this is not the answer because it's negative x equals 5. We want positive x. So we could think about this as being negative 1 times x, and then we can see that we have to divide both sides by negative 1 to undo that negative 1 and get a positive x for our answer. So do be careful when you have problems like that. There is a couple on your worksheet like that. In the second example here, we're multiplying negative 2 times everything in the parentheses. So there's the distributive property part. And then once you have the distributive property part simplified, then you look for like terms and finish solving. And note that in this one we get a decimal answer, and that's certainly a valid answer. You won't always get integer answers. So let's look at number 11 is just like the example I just showed you. And I even have a note that that is the same as taking negative 1 times x and then negative 1 times 3. So be careful of that one. Number 12 is not solved. I just put the steps over here. So it says first to do the distributive property. So I would take 5 times 1, and then I would take 5 times 2w, plus 2w equals 29. And then I have to simplify that before I do the second step. So 5 times 1 is 5, plus 10w, plus 2w equals 29. Now I'm ready for the second step, which is to add like terms on both sides. So I don't have any on the right side, it's just a 29 over there. But on the left side, I do have to combine my like terms. So I would have 5 plus whatever 10w plus 2w is. So that will give you your, I'll let you write that in. And then you'll undo the plus 5 by subtracting 5 from both sides. That'll be your third step. And then finally you'll be able to divide by the number in front of w. In number 13, this is just an application problem. It says that the sum of two angles is 90. Angle ABC is 2x and angle DEF is 3x plus 1. Write an equation that shows that their sum is 90, then solve for x. And there's another video in your folder that I go over how to do a problem like this. And then I also discuss these last problems. So good luck on this worksheet. Show your work or you won't get any credit if you just put an answer. And do the best that you can. Be sure to look back at the examples if you need to review how to do these problems. Thanks a lot and have a great day.